Reading for Knowledge and Cultivation, and Life Beyond that Marguerite Yourcenar's Memoirs of Hadrian. We often perceive terms like knowledge or cultivation as distant, difficult, or lofty realms accessible only to a special few. Sometimes, we dismiss them as rigid facts to memorize for exams or irrelevant stories disconnected from reality. However, true knowledge and cultivation are never separate from our lives. Rather, they are precious tools that enrich and deepen our lives, granting us the power to understand the world and reflect on ourselves. They offer the wisdom and insight necessary to navigate a complex world and awaken the values we, as humans, should pursue. I would like to introduce a book that breaks the prejudice that certain books are difficult and offers profound reflections on the essential questions of life. Memoirs of Hadrian by Marguerite Yourcenar. This novel is written in the form of a letter by Emperor Hadrian of Rome as he reflects on his life on the verge of death. At first glance, it might seem like a distant and rigid historical account about an ancient Roman emperor. Yet, this book goes beyond a simple enumeration of ancient history by delving deeply into the innermost self of a human being, provoking introspection on life and death, love and loss, power and responsibility, and the meaning of human existence. Even without grand notions of knowledge and cultivation, it can guide us to reflect on our own lives and find the courage and wisdom to move forward in a better direction. Memoirs of Hadrian, exploring the human condition through the life of an emperor. This book, meticulously researched and written over 2 decades by Marguerite Yourcenar, takes the form of an extended letter from Emperor Hadrian of the 2nd century Roman Empire to his grandson and heir, Marcus Aurelius. It is a personal account of reflections on his tumultuous life as he approaches death, revealing the truths of life he has come to understand. The most distinctive feature of this book is not merely listing historical facts, but penetrating deep into the inner world of Hadrian, vividly portraying his thoughts, emotions, and struggles. The author narrates the story from Hadrian's perspective with the voice and vision of the emperor himself. Hadrian, a wise ruler, focused not on conquering new territories, but on consolidating existing ones and strengthening internal stability. He traveled across the empire to observe the lives of his people, reformed laws and institutions, and constructed massive walls along the borders to maintain peace. He was also a cultivated individual who loved Greek literature and art, engaged with philosophy, and possessed deep knowledge of architecture, leaving behind numerous buildings. Yet simultaneously, he was a profoundly human being, deeply grieving over the death of his beloved Antinous and continuously pondering the finite nature of human existence and the meaning of life. In the book, Hadrian recounts his life with calmness and at times intense emotion, from his childhood to his reign as emperor and finally to his moments of waiting for death in a weakened body. He openly exposes his successes and failures, love and loss, joy and sorrow, and glory and pain. His efforts to dream of peace amid the madness of war and to seek balance despite the endless temptations of power move readers deeply. In particular, his acceptance of death vividly demonstrates his philosophy of acknowledging life's finitude and striving to live fully and meaningfully. As readers follow the life of Hadrian, they will confront fundamental questions. What is life? Why do we live, and what should we pursue? What is death? How can we find meaning within limited lives? What is power? How should we use the influence we have over others? What significance do love and loss hold for humans? How should we overcome pain and move forward? How do beauty and knowledge add value to our lives? These questions are not limited to an ancient Roman emperor from 2 millennia ago. They are fundamental inquiries that all of us face in our lives today. Rather than offering definitive answers, Memoirs of Hadrian provides opportunities for deep reflection and encourages readers to find their own answers with courage. Insights from the book, Timeless Human Wisdom and Insight. What significance and insights does Memoirs of Hadrian offer as an essay on reading for those without prior knowledge or cultivation? This book contains countless insights that help mature our attitudes and values toward life beyond merely recounting historical facts. 1. A mirror for reflecting on the meaning of life and death. Hadrian reflects on his life as he faces death. Through this process, he demonstrates a deep contemplation on how to value each moment as a finite being and what it means to live. We all face death, yet many of us avoid thinking about it. However, Hadrian's memoirs remind us that death is an integral part of life. Only by confronting death can we truly live a fulfilling life. It makes us aware of how precious time and opportunities are, emphasizing the importance of living meaningfully each day. This book invites us to pause in our busy daily routines and ask, am I living well now? 2. Insights into power, responsibility, and leadership. Hadrian was the leader of a vast empire. He continually pondered how his decisions affected the lives of countless people. His philosophy of choosing peace over war and stability over conquest serves as a model for modern leaders. Though we may not be emperors, we all exercise small forms of leadership in our families, workplaces, and friendships, influencing others in some way. This book prompts questions such as, what is the right way to use the power I have, and what does it mean to treat others with a sense of responsibility? It reminds us of the importance of ethical leadership and accountability. 3. Empathy for the complexity of human relationships and the pain of loss. Hadrian's memoirs honestly depict his relationships with those he loved, especially his deep affection and profound grief over the loss of Antinous. He experiences deep sorrow and despair over Antinous' death but also gains a renewed appreciation for the meaning of life through that love. Love and loss are universal human emotions that transcend time. By indirectly experiencing the profound grief of another, this book expands our empathy and helps us confront and heal our own wounds. The fact that even a seemingly perfect emperor suffers from love and loss teaches us to respect fundamental human emotions and find comfort in our shared humanity. 4. How the pursuit of knowledge and beauty enriches life. Hadrian constantly pursued knowledge and cherished the beauty of art and architecture. He was not just a ruler but also a philosopher and artist, aiming to unify the empire through culture. This illustrates that life is not merely about surviving but about advancing ourselves and beautifying the world through knowledge and art. Taking a moment in our hectic lives to read a book, appreciate artwork, or listen to music is not just a way to pass time. It enriches our inner lives, allows us to view the world from new perspectives, and deepens the meaning of life. This book exemplifies how such cultured activities are truly significant. 5. A guide for self-reflection and inner growth. Ultimately, Memoirs of Hadrian itself is a process of deep self-reflection by an individual reviewing his entire life. The emperor honestly confronts not only his achievements but also his mistakes, regrets, and truths he failed to recognize. This prompts readers to ask, how deeply do I examine my own life? Looking at oneself through the lives of others helps us better understand ourselves, establish our values, and set directions for our futures. In a non-prescriptive manner, this book reminds us of the importance of self-reflection and will become a reliable companion on the path to inner growth. A journey to discover the meaning of life through reading. What we commonly call knowledge and cultivation are nothing more than tools to enrich life. They are not about memorizing and showing off facts, but about understanding the world, empathizing with others, and ultimately reflecting on ourselves. Though Memoirs of Hadrian is the story of an emperor from 2 millennia ago, the struggles and introspection within transcend time and resonate deeply with us today. This book compels us to consider the complexity of the world we live in, what values we should pursue as humans, and how we search for meaning in finite lives. Reading is not merely the act of deciphering words, but a precious experience of discovering ourselves through others' lives and broadening our understanding of the world. Especially with books like Memoirs of Hadrian, we can break through our own prejudices of being people without knowledge or cultivation and see that anyone can seek answers to life's essential questions. If you ever think, I'm not someone who reads much, or this difficult book isn't for me, I encourage you to set aside that thought and open this book. Through the life of an ancient Roman emperor, you will rediscover your own life and experience the surprising realization that you can find depth and meaning in life without the grand titles of knowledge and cultivation. This book will become the best friend you need to reflect on your life and grow into a more fulfilling human being. I sincerely encourage you to begin your journey of expanding life's horizons and discovering your own wisdom through reading.